The following comments were pulled from the Easy Allies Patreon page among our $10 and above patrons. They represent what our community was playing and talking about in August. The vitriol being directed against Sean Murray and Hello Games is way out of proportion with the quality of their product. No Man's Sky is the most fascinating thing I've played this year. Forget the controversies, choose not to barrel toward the Galactic Center like a reviewer on a deadline, and just enjoy its alien worlds. Do bump up your inventory slots whenever you can, though. No Man's Sky has been out for over 2 weeks now, and I'm still playing it. I'm taking my time on each planet to explore and even name the different creatures. They do start to resemble each other from planet to planet, but then there are still those moments when you see something that strikes you with awe. My favorite thing to do is find a crashed ship and fix it up, and explore planets until I find a new one. I've yet to find the center of the universe, and I'm in no hurry to. I am savoring that game for the little things each time I play it. I'll never forget how impressed I was with the very first couple No Man's Sky trailers. My imagination went wild. I felt I didn't need to look into much more specifics. I feel now that because of that, I enjoy No Man's Sky a lot more than most people. I only say that because I keep reading about so much hate and nagging on the game. I think Brandon does a good job explaining how I feel in his rant in the August 10th Easy Allies podcast at the 30-minute mark. Love No Man's Sky. It's a 4-star game. Can't stop playing. I've been enjoying No Man's Sky more than I expected. It is relaxing to play and is one of the few games I enjoy that I can play with my 1- and 3-year-old daughters in the room. My 3-year-old likes naming the different rocks and animals. No Man's Sky isn't everything I wanted it to be, but I love it. Beautiful vistas and relaxed exploration with just my preferred amount of struggling to survive. Not to mention the lore buried in the occasional puzzle or alien interaction. To me, it's just plain jolly. Regardless of what people think of the gameplay in No Man's Sky, credit must be given to Hello Games for their achievement. They could have taken the easy road and just made Joe Danger 3, but their desire to bring this game to life deserves applause. Well done, Hello Games. I hope your next game captures as many imaginations as No Man's Sky has. Sean Murray and Hello Games have accomplished something great. However, they're just one more in a long line of developers that have released a severely broken, unfinished game onto a retail disc. And whenever someone says, just download the day one patch, I hear Jack Tretton saying, disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play, followed by uproarious applause. This month, I really wanted to play the Yakuza series, as I had never tried it before. Ben and Huber's passionate rant during E3 got me obsessed. Everyone says it's easiest to start with Yakuza 3, and off on my hunt I go. My local GameStop had Yakuza 4, but nowhere in my state was there a copy of Yakuza 3. I picked up Yakuza 4 and went home. I started packing for my trip back to California to see my family, and realized that I could stop anywhere in my 600-mile drive and find Yakuza 3. I found out that the only copy of Yakuza 3 on my route was in my hometown. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. and started my drive. I arrived at 3:30. I had priorities in order and went to GameStop first. The gentleman at the counter gave me a Yakuza 3 disc in GameStop's famous generic game case. The trip was great. No Man's Sky had come out when I got back, so I didn't put the game in until a week later. A surprise was waiting for me, however, when I got home. A PS Plus free download of Yakuza 5. Now I feel overwhelmed. I have all the Yakuza games I can get my hands on. I will be busy for a long time. Video games are treating me pretty good in these dark days. Overwatch, No Man's Sky, Doom, still playing in heavy rotation. However, thanks to PS Plus, I'm diving into Yakuza 5 hard on PS3. This sucker took almost 2 days to download, but it's worth it. I'm also eating a lot more Japanese food lately. The Nioh beta is awesome. Finished the second area only to find out that there's another level 30 side mission. This month's group stream was all about Suicide Squad, and that name fits you guys better than the movie. Well done, and keep it up. Overall, I think Nioh is my most anticipated game in a while, just a few notches above Final Fantasy XV. It's a Souls-esque game with some Ninja Gaiden and Onimusha spiced in, all set to a Japanese mythology setting. The addicting alpha of the game we had a while back showed just how brutally challenging, yet fun, the game can be. I have never been a big fan of the Soulsborne series. The combat and design never really hooked me, and after dozens of deaths before the first boss in Bloodborne, I decided to call it quits. Thanks to the excellent Nioh alpha, I might have to give it another shot. At first, I branded it as another Souls game, but after all the praise it received, I thought it was maybe worth a shot, and boy was I wrong. Nioh helped me overcome the frustration of dying with its gorgeous visuals, weird collectible turtle spirits, and well-polished combat. 10 years and 2 months. Time is really put into perspective with Final Fantasy XV. 10 years to escape corporate hell. I've graduated high school and university since the game was announced. 2 months for polish and performance boosting? Fine. I've waited for so long, and it's been an experience. Persona 5 will be out in Japan in less than a month, while the rest of the world has to wait another 6. I'm gonna get burned out seeing all the footage coming in before the game ships here in February. I'm still gonna buy and probably love it. I just think that there will be less enthusiasm. With Final Fantasy XV delayed until November, is this a missed opportunity by Atlus to not release worldwide in September? I think so. Square Enix has the 2 properties I'm anticipating the most, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3. But with how Final Fantasy XV has been handled recently, my concern has been building. I'll still play 15 when it comes at the end of November, but my expectations are appropriately tempered. However, for the 2 games I want more than any other, I'm now terrified that no matter what happens, their developments will suffer, if they haven't already. Please, Square Enix, get your house in order by learning from 15 and give as much love and care to them as you can. What happened to Kingsglaive? Like seriously, can anyone explain any aspect of that movie to me? All that beats headphones money and they still couldn't buy a coherent script. Good grief. I am at my core a competitive person, so that goes into my gaming. I've played most multiplayer games from Team Fortress 2 to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now I'm into Overwatch, and it certainly scratches that competitive itch. I wish Easy Allies had a program or show that covered competitive gaming and esports, so please take it into consideration. Lately, I haven't been able to rip myself away from multiplayer games. From Overwatch to Splatoon to Smash 4, it's been the kryptonite of all the single-player campaigns waiting in my queue. I've spent hundreds of hours online in Smash just trying to get good, only to find myself mediocre in the end, but that doesn't keep me away. I don't know why, but out of all the RPGs coming out soon, the one I am most excited for is the Fractured, but Whole. The Stick of Truth was the best adaptation of a licensed property, and it looks like the Kun and friends will thrive in the Fractured, but Whole. Also, I want to hear Brandon say the Fractured, but Whole a few times. The more I think about this year's upcoming releases, I find that the one thing I'm looking forward to the most is not one of the mega hyped games like Final Fantasy XV or the Japanese version of Persona 5, but South Park, the Fractured but Whole. I find that South Park, more so than most other games, lives and dies by its writing, and I know I can trust Trey Parker and Matt Stone to write another hilarious story. If you have a Wii U and like JRPGs, do yourself a favor and get Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It is the vibes and heart of a Persona title with a bunch of cool characters you can grow into. The combat and story progression is as good as it gets. Get yourself ready for Persona 5 with this hidden gem. After watching the Easy A review of the Banner Saga 2, I decided to pick up both the Banner Saga 1 and 2. I'm very happy I decided to do so. The first 2 games have impactful dialogue trees, an amazing art style, and a fresh new take on an otherwise stale genre. It might be one of the best downloadable games I've picked up on the PS4. The Renown system is also great. It forces you to decide if you want to either level up your characters or buy supplies so you can rest up and increase your morale. I encourage everybody to at least give the first game a try, and I can't wait for the final game in the trilogy. I'm not playing No Man's Sky. Instead, I'm playing Pokemon Red on the Nintendo 3DS. Jumping back to this slow-moving 2D RPG was a real challenge at first. I still find myself holding the B button, hoping the sprite will move a little faster across the screen. However, I've now received my 4th gym badge. Thank you Brandon and Kyle for reminding me how amazing experiencing Pokemon for the first time can be. Maybe after this, I'll start Metal Gear Solid over again. Recently, me and my longtime friends have taken up Dungeons & Dragons. Now, a month later, we're having a blast being the worst group of adventurers out there. Thanks to Tabletop Escapades, I've started a weekend routine full of fun and fortune. Man, I love hitting a critical. Played the Titanfall 2 multiplayer test, and I can honestly say that the grapple mechanic is the closest thing to 3D maneuver gear that you can get outside of an Attack on Titan game. It's so freaking awesome. I've been neck deep in StarCraft 2 for the past few weeks, and I gotta say, the campaigns might be some of the best I've ever played. For a developer so exalted for its multiplayer, Blizzard knows how to craft a stellar single-player experience. Though I realize it would have resulted in a far longer development cycle, I can't help but wonder what an Overwatch campaign would have looked like had the folks at Blizzard crafted one with the same focused finesse on display throughout the StarCraft 2 trilogy. I just want to see your first PlayStation VR group stream. I have no idea what to expect, but I bet it will be hilarious. I just want to say thank you for the Eorzean Allies videos. I tried the game as my first MMO 3 years ago and was quickly intimidated and never subbed past the first month. Now, picking it up after having dabbled in a couple MMOs, I have found my muse. I love this game. I've logged 40 hours in the first 2 weeks of playing, and I'm nowhere near burnt out. I'm starting to understand Huber's addiction to tank characters. As a man who always goes hunter or rogue, the big boy slowness and lack of finesse just never appealed to me. I recently went back to Dragon Age Inquisition, a game I really didn't enjoy much, but it was cheap on the PS Store, so I went for it. I built the usual Dark Elf rogue, and soon after starting the game, I remembered why I stopped playing in the first place. So I said, let's switch it up, made a human warrior, and damn, the power in every hit, charging forward, tackling anyone in your way, or knocking opponents off balance with a heavy blow. Wow, it's a totally different game. Resident Evil has been a pillar of horror gaming for 2 decades now, and my hype for Resident Evil 7 is only exceeded by my curiosity of what's going to happen next. What state is the T-Virus in? Who's still alive that we thought was dead? And where the hell is Albert Wesker? But I don't want to know until that puppy is in my PS4. Following Huber's claim in episode 9 of Frame Trap that now was the best time to get into wrestling, I finally signed up to the WWE Network. Huber was 100% correct that the draft and the splitting of brands made getting in extremely accessible. I know Huber was upset by the storyline resets, but I hope he can take solace in the fact that they gained at least one new fan, and it was almost entirely because of his adamant, fanatical fervor for the WWE. Bring back buttons. I've been thinking about the Ouya a lot recently, for reasons that escape me. Don't get me wrong, the system had its many flaws, but there was a certain charm to its peculiarity. Titles such as Hidden in Plain Sight, Bomb Squad, and Amazing Frog were as rough as they come, but presented an almost homemade warmth in their roughness. I guess I was just interested to see someone other than the big three attempt to put a console out in today's marketplace. The Xbox and PlayStation consoles are fairly predictable in the grand scheme of things, and Nintendo systems usually have a gimmick or two, but the Ouya was someone else's previously unseen vision of what a games console could be. Sure, it ended up being a completely damp squib, but it's still a very interesting relic of early crowdfunding. I encourage anyone who's got one lying around their house to boot it up and venture through the wasteland of the Ouya store to see what strange games you may find. Here's to you, Ouya. History won't be kind to you. Between Bloodworth's streaming Earthbound and Damiani's Storytime, I'm reminded of a quick innocent story from my youth. When Earthbound came out, my 10-year-old self thought it looked too childish, but a friend convinced me to give it a shot. I rented it for a weekend and immediately fell in love, and each subsequent week, I desperately tried to scrounge up another $2 to rent it again and progress further. One time, after returning the game to the local video store, I saw a lone dollar bill sitting in the parking lot of the neighboring bar. I picked it up, thrilled that I was already halfway to funding my next rental. Many years later, I came to learn that this bar was actually a strip club. That's right, I technically paid for my favorite game ever with stripper money. There's one thing that's made me so mad for years, and I want to get it out. In Germany, they changed the name of Epic Mickey to Mickey Epic. Why? Overcooked. What? Exactly. Check it out, allies. 100% completion and 3 stars on every level in just a few days together with my wife. Marriage still intact, LOL. If you're looking for a game to play with your significant other, give it a shot. Jolly cooperation results may vary. Guess what I've been playing this month? The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. I feel like I'm the only person in the EZA community playing that. Am I? It can only be fate that I watched the allies open a box containing Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank briefcase while I was wearing my Seth Rollins shirt. The PlayStation meeting is getting close, and we are waiting for Bosman to suit up one more time. Bring on the PlayStation 4K. That's what I predict it'll be called. $599. Let's do this. PlayStation Master Race. I bought a 4K TV just for this. Bring the juice, Sony. This year, I'm once again attempting the 52 games completed in 52 weeks challenge. This is my 4th year in a row attempting this, and I can happily report in the month of August, I've already surpassed my previous year-end best. I'm up to 38 games, and things look on track so far. This month's accomplishments so far have been Abzu, Dishonored, I like this game Divinity, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Next up is Bound, Dragon Quest IV, and Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Spent the week in my fiance's parents' lake house. After spending all day outside, I got my hands on a dusty Wii and played Super Mario Galaxy 2 for several hours. You know a game is truly remarkable when a whole crew of outdoorsmen gather to watch and enjoy the virtual adventures of an Italian plumber. What a stunning game. It's Samus's 30th anniversary, so I'd like to abuse Brandon's voice to pay respect to one of the greatest games ever created. Super Metroid is a masterpiece. The atmosphere it creates is uncanny for a game released 22 years ago. It is full of cool moments, secrets, and boss fights, but the one little detail that stuck with me is something that is probably just my imagination working too hard. After getting the Morph Ball, a few missiles, and the bombs, a gap opens for a second elevator to Bryn Star. When the ride ends, the Bryn Star green area music slowly fades in, as if it had been playing the whole time, in the background, waiting for me to get to that point. It felt like a message from Nintendo saying, "Alright kid, no more hand-holding. This is your game now. Enjoy."